Christopher Dorner, ex-LAPD officer on a vengeful killing spree. Christopher Dorner, a former Los Angeles police officer, stunned the nation in February 2013 when he embarked on a deadly revenge campaign against his old department. Over the course of 9 days, Dorner murdered 4 people and wounded 3 others. The victims included fellow law enforcement officers and the daughter of a retired LAPD captain. The news outlets called the ensuing chase the largest manhunt in Southern California history. The rampage finally ended on February 12, 2013, when Dorner was cornered in a remote mountain cabin. The cabin was set ablaze in a police assault, and investigators later confirmed Dorner had died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the fire. Christopher Jordan Dorner grew up in Southern California and pursued a career in law enforcement. He served in the Navy Reserve and was an LAPD officer. He even received training with the U.S. Navy Infantry Battalion in 2007. By all accounts, he was a diligent but unassuming officer. However, during his early years at the LAPD, Dorner became convinced that a fellow officer, training officer Teresa Evans, had used excessive force on a suspect. In 2007, Dorner filed an internal complaint against Evans, claiming she kicked a mentally ill man during an arrest stop. The department investigated and ultimately sided with Evans. In 2008, Dorner was fired by the LAPD, officially accused of lying about the incident. His attorney, retired Captain Randall Kwan, protested that Dorner was being made a scapegoat. A judge upheld the firing, leaving Dorner bitter and humiliated. Dorner later claimed his termination was unjust and racially motivated. He vowed to get those responsible for ruining his life before ultimately taking his own life. In early February 2013, Dorner privately set his plan in motion. He assembled a lengthy 11,000-word manifesto on his personal Facebook page detailing his grievances. In it, he railed against the LAPD hierarchy, evoking historic corruption scandals. The department has not changed since the Rampart and Rodney King days, and insisting his campaign was a necessary evil to cleanse the force. Dorner listed dozens of officers and public figures by name, demanding that the LAPD publicly admit his firing was retaliation for reporting excessive force. In a chilling post, he declared, "I will not be alive to see my name cleared. That's what this is about, my name." He threatened unconventional and asymmetrical warfare against the department and vowed revenge on all those he felt had betrayed him. Dorner later admitted he would likely not survive the ordeal, effectively making it a suicide mission. Within days, Dorner put his threats into action. A timeline of the key events is outlined below. February 1, 2013, manifesto mailed. Dorner sent a package of DVDs and documents outlining his case to television news outlets. He even mailed a bullet-riddled LAPD challenge coin to CNN anchor Anderson Cooper, demonstrating his marksmanship. February 3, 2013. Shortly after midnight on the University of Southern California campus, Dorner ambushed a young engaged couple in their car. The victims were Monica Kwan, a Cal State Fullerton assistant basketball coach, and her fiance Keith Lawrence, a USC public safety officer. Dorner shot at point-blank range in their parked vehicle and died at the scene. Investigators quickly linked these murders to Dorner. Monica's father, retired Captain Randall Kwan, had represented Dorner in his termination case and was named in Dorner's manifesto, making the killings a calculated act of revenge. February 4, 2013, manifesto goes public. News organizations began circulating Dorner's online manifesto. In it, Dorner admitted the Irvine murders were necessary to draw attention to the LAPD's corruption. He urged journalists to investigate his claims that racist colleagues had ruined his career. The manifesto listed over 40 potential targets. San Diego police even detained Dorner's military assets. He had checked into a naval base in San Diego on February 5th, but left abruptly. February 6 to 7, 2013. Manhunt escalates. By now, Dorner was a wanted fugitive. On the morning of Feb 7, a San Diego gas station attendant reported seeing a man matching Dorner's description. 2 motorcycle officers followed a dark pickup truck. The driver jumped out and opened fire on the officers, grazing one LAPD motorcycle officer in the head. Minutes later, at about 2 o'clock a.m., Dorner ambushed 2 Riverside police officers stopped at a red light. Detective Michael Crane was killed outright, and his partner Andrew Tachias was critically wounded, shot 9 times but survived. Dorner calmly continued past the scene. In a second brazen move, at around 3:00 a.m., he attempted to hijack a boat in San Diego, telling the captain he planned to escape to Mexico. The Coast Guard and local police fanned out across Southern California and Arizona to hunt him. Later on Feb 7, authorities found Dorner's dark gray pickup truck burned and abandoned on a fire road near Big Bear Lake in the San Bernardino Mountains. The truck fire suggested Dorner had moved into the remote mountain region. Meanwhile, confusion and fear gripped the region. Law enforcement on high alert made several mistakes. At 5:30 a.m., LAPD officers on patrol near Torrance opened fire on a light blue Toyota pickup that they wrongly believed was Dorner's truck. They struck the vehicle's passengers, Emma Hernandez and her daughter Margie Carranza, who were newspaper delivery workers. Both survived despite severe injuries. About 30 minutes later, Torrance police mistakenly rammed and shot at a black Honda pickup driven by David Perdue, another innocent motorist. These friendly fire incidents sparked public outrage and led to internal investigation. With Dorner still at large in the mountains, authorities announced a $1 million reward for information and began referring to the rampage as a form of domestic terrorism. Drones and helicopters scoured the rugged terrain. Every potential target named in Dorner's writings was given police protection. The manhunt reached its climax in Big Bear Lake. Around midday, sheriff's deputies spotted a truck stolen from the Reynolds family cabin, Dorner's hideout, and identified Dorner at the wheel. Officers surrounded a cabin in the remote hillside and called for Dorner to surrender. Dorner answered by opening fire. In the fierce gunfight, Dorner fatally shot Deputy Jeremiah J. Mackay and critically wounded his partner Alex Collins. Hundreds of officers from multiple agencies fortified a perimeter around the cabin. In an unprecedented move, a SWAT team used a remote-controlled armored vehicle with battering ram to knock down the cabin walls. They then fired pyrotechnic tear gas canisters, burners, into the cabin. The gas set the cabin alight. As flames engulfed the structure, officers heard a single gunshot from inside. All they could do was watch as the cabin burned down to rubble. In the snow-covered San Bernardino Mountains near Big Bear, Dorner made his last stand. Deputies had skirted over frozen peaks for days to close in on him. In the final shootout, Dorner killed Deputy McCain and wounded another officer. Tactical units deployed gas and explosives, causing the cabin to erupt in flames. Later, investigators found Dorner's charred body in the ruins with a single gunshot wound to the head. A wallet and California driver's license bearing Dorner's name were recovered from the debris. Dental records confirmed it was him. Officials reported he died by suicide. By February 13, news reports confirmed the burned body was Dorner's. CBS News via the AP noted that Dorner's own ID was found in the cabin rubble. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office held a press briefing on Feb 14 announcing that autopsy results showed Dorner died from a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. Law enforcement agencies, under intense scrutiny, repeatedly denied intentionally setting the fire. In the days after the siege, attention turned to the LAPD's conduct. Chief Charlie Beck publicly announced a new review of Dorner's termination case, saying the department would re-examine whether Dorner's firing had truly been justified. Dorner's savage assault had forced a broader conversation about police accountability and the toll of unchecked resentment. In all, Dorner's killing spree left 4 dead, including Deputy Mackay, and at least 3 wounded. The victims included Monica Kwan and Keith Lawrence. The Irvine couple shot February 3rd, plus Detective Michael Crane of Riverside PD, killed Feb 7. Deputy Jeremiah Mackay was killed Feb 12 in a cabin firefight. Dozens more officers narrowly escaped or were wounded, such as Officer Tachias, shot 9 times but survived. Dorner's 6,000-word online manifesto and the dramatic chase led media to cover every turn. Retrospectives note that Dorner vowed a war on racism and corruption in the LAPD and carried it out in brutal fashion. Christopher Dorner's story remains a cautionary tale of rage and revenge. A fiery cop's simmering grievance exploded into violence that terrorized Southern California. The case sparked lawsuits. Families of the mistargeted victims sued the LAPD for the wrongful shootings and renewed calls for transparency in police discipline. By the end, Dorner lay dead in the ashes of a cabin, his grievances heard, albeit at the cost of 4 lives in one of the bloodiest manhunts the state had ever seen.